Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's K-E-S-H-W-A-N-I, Keshwani. We are here because we want to improve our English. We want to improve our vocabulary. The way we do that is by learning few new words every day. Yesterday was day number 20. You know what that means? Since yesterday was day 20, that means today is our day for the quiz. At the end of every 5 days, we take a quiz. The idea is to learn the words for 5 days, Monday through Friday, presumably. And on the weekend, we take our quiz. So today is a quiz day. This is our fourth quiz because yesterday was day 20. And since we have a quiz every 5 days, it stands to reason that today should be our quiz number 4. Quiz number 4. Now listen, in these quizzes I won't have too much time to stop and pause to give you the idea, to come up with the, to give you the time rather, to come up with the answers, the meanings of the words. I'm going to have to keep on going at a steady pace, because as it is, usually these videos run into half-hour period. I usually end up taking 5 minutes per day. Sometimes more, so we don't have the time to slow down. So here we go, one after the other. I'm going to put the words on the blackboard. Presumably you have already watched day 16 through 20 and presumably you have learned these words already, so this is the quiz. In other words, I'm not going to put down the pronunciation of the words on the blackboard. I'm not going to put too much details on it, just one after the other, okay? The very first word on day number 16 was connote. What does it mean to connote? Connote simply means to, well, a lot of people know the noun of this word, which strangely enough, connotation. Everybody has heard of it. But the verb for connotation is connote. What does it mean? To connote, it just means to suggest or to imply more to the meaning of the word than what the word simply means. To suggest or to imply more to the meaning of a word than what the word literally implies. And the noun is connotation. People talk about positive connotation, the words having positive connotations, words having negative connotation, and so forth. Connotation is a noun. That's it. And then, as an example, we talked about 4 words. The words were curd, terse, succinct, and laconic. To make you understand the concept of what it means to connote, what it means to have a certain connotation. All of this, so as an example, we learned these 4 words. And all of these words mean to be brief. All of them, to be brief. But they have different connotations. You see, the word connotation in the context, they have different connotations. Curd and terse have the rudeness, have the connotation of rudeness. If you're being curd or terse, of course you're giving me a very brief answer, but there is an edge to your voice, there's a sharp edge to your voice. You're being brief, but at the same time you're being rude. You have this certain edge to your tone, which I don't care for. It's rude. But it is being brief. What does it mean to be succinct? Well, succinct means to be brief, but it also has a connotation of being clear. So here there is no rudeness. Succinct is a good quality to have. Succinct is a virtue. And for those of you who do not still know the word, virtue means a good quality, a good moral quality, as opposed to a vice, which is a bad quality, immoral quality. Dishonesty is a vice. Honesty is a virtue, obviously. Being frugal is virtue. But if you do too much of it, it becomes to the extreme, then it might become vice if you become too stingy. Do you understand? You get the idea. We're digressing. So succinct means to be brief, but at the same time you're being clear. So you gave me a brief answer. It was not rude. There was no rudeness to your tone. It was brief, and I understood what you were talking about. That is an excellent quality to have. What does laconic mean? Laconic simply means to be brief. It has no connotation. It doesn't have positive connotation, it doesn't have negative connotation, it doesn't have a connotation of being clear. If you're being laconic, you're just being brief and that's it. That was the end of it. The next word that we learned, since we were talking about being brief all the time, what is the noun of brief? A brief answer, as you can tell, brief is an adjective. A brief answer, you see, I'm describing a noun, an adjective, brief answer. What is the noun for it? If you're being brief, your comment has brevity. I'm not going to put down the pronunciation on the blackboard, as I said before. If you want to learn these words in more details, you can always go to day number 16. Just type in Keshwani Prep -vocab- and then day 16, whichever day it is, day by day, and then number. I don't know why I just now had the urge to spell day. But anyway, just put down day 16 and it will pop right up. Put down that tag in the YouTube, it will pop right up, whichever day that you want to learn. So the noun of brief is brevity. The antonym is verbosity. These are nouns. Verbosity means to be verbose, using too many words. And as I already explained in the first 3 quizzes, there are times when it's difficult for you to read my handwriting in the quiz. It's not legible. This word we learned a long time ago, legible, and therefore illegible. Cannot be read, it's difficult to read it. And that's because I'm doing it on purpose. I'm trying to do it in a hurry, and sometimes it becomes difficult to read. But you should not complain, I can't read it, I don't know what you're talking about. But the idea is not, you see this, the idea here is not that you're looking at these words for the very first time. The idea is that you've already seen these words being spelled properly and being written properly and being written down, given the pronunciation of the word properly. When you watch this word on the given day, on day 16. So if you're having trouble reading something, just go back and watch the video for 16. Okay? That was the end of day number 16. Let's move on to 17. What did we learn on day 17? Well, let's find out. Reprisal, which is a noun. Then we learn retribution, then we learn restitution, and then finally we learn reparation. And they all basically mean to pay for your wrongdoing, something that you have done wrong, and now you have to pay for it. They all basically mean the same thing. But they have different nuances, they have different connotations. What does reprisal mean? Reprisal means payments that you may require from somebody for the damages that the person has done to you. Either you require payment for that, for those injuries, for your damages, or you go and inflict the same pain and injury on that person, take a revenge. That's reprisal. Restitution is not the same. Retribution is the next word, and retribution and reprisal and retribution mean the same exact thing. It just basically means you require payment for the damages that somebody has done to you, injuries somebody has caused to you, or you go and inflict the same damage and same injuries to that person. Take your revenge. What's a restitution? Restitution does not involve getting back at somebody in that sense of having a revenge. Restitution is more of a legal process where you return the goods, whatever it is that was stolen, from the rightful owner. If you find, for example, you hear restitution in the context of a police find some goods from that they found in the van of the thieves, and a whole bunch of stuff, and they find out where those goods came from, in which houses, and they go and return to those goods to the rightful owner. The thief tells you, I stole this computer from that house. So they knock on the door and return the computer, and that's restitution. It just means returning to rightful owner what was taken away illegally, or giving something of the equal comparable value. But it doesn't have a connotation of getting back at somebody, taking revenge, which is what reprisal and retributions are. Retribution and reprisal also have the strong connotation of taking revenge. Here it's simply returning what belonged to the rightful owner. What's a reparation? Reparation again means the same thing, but it has a nuance of making amends. It has a nuance of making amends, which these three words have nothing to do with. So here you do something to put something right, and you're also trying to make amends in the sense that you're expressing your guilt, I suppose. You're expressing your remorse for having done something wrong. Then we talked about the word amend itself. Amend has two meanings. One meaning of the word amend, of course, is to amend a law, which means to improve or revise a law. The second meaning of the word amend, of course, is what we are using here, which means to improve your behavior, to atone for your sin, to expiate. So that's what reparation was. Reparation is a noun, and a couple of synonyms would be expiation, and atonement. And they all mean the same thing. Expiation means making amends. Atonement means making amends. To make up for something that you did wrong is what atonement is, which is what a reparation is. Now, reparation in the plural has a different meaning. If you use the same exact word in the plural, reparation, and then in the plural, reparations has a different meaning, which is where one country requires another country to pay for the damages that the other country inflicted, the other country being the defeated country. So the country that was defeated in the war is being asked to pay reparations payment to the victor for all the damages that the loser caused. For example, Germans were required to make a reparations payment after the Second World War. Day number 18. So that was the end of day 17. On day 18 we did the same thing. We talked about three words which are sort of similar and yet they have different nuances. The words were reverberation, repercussions, ramification. And all of these three words mean to have consequences. to have consequences. All of these words. So if all of these words mean the same thing, to have consequences, then what is the difference between these three words? Those differences, what we're talking about, they have different connotation. The word that we just learned before in the previous day, in 616, they have different connotation, they have different nuances, if you like. The difference is that reverberation, when this word is to use, when you're talking about consequence, which is direct effect. Repercussion, on the other hand, is an indirect effect. And that's the difference in repercussion and reverberation. I'm trying to think of an example right now as I'm speaking here, a better example than I did last time, between reverberation and repercussions, but you get the idea. If you do something, then as a result of it, something follows immediately right after that. That's a direct effect, and that's reverberation. Indirect effect is something as A causes B and then B causes C. That's called repercussions. Do you understand? So that's it. A good example would be what? Well, if I get in an accident, I will destroy my car, and well, I will get a ticket. And if I get one more ticket, they will suspend my license. But there you go. That's a repercussion. Getting the ticket, direct effect of speeding or whatever it is. If I speed and if I get caught, I will get a ticket. Reverberation. And if I get one more ticket, I have so many tickets already that if I were to get one more, they will suspend my license. That's the repercussions. What does ramification mean? Ramification means there are many branches to it. It forks out. It means to divide, to branch out. So here, as a result of one event, if A happens, then, see here it's different. If A happens, B will happen. Here what we're saying is that if A happens, B will happen, and if B happens, then it will cause C to happen. Here what we're saying is that if event A happens, it will cause B, C, and D to happen, as opposed to if A happens, B will happen. Here, if A happens, it will cause B to happen, and that will cause C to happen. The indirect effect is the repercussions. Reverberation is just a direct effect. Ramification is a different story, where as a result of something, wide variety, numerous different events might take place, and that's called ramification. That's the idea of subdividing, forking, shooting out, partitioning is what ramification is. Finally, on the same day, on day number 18, we learned one more word which has nothing to do with any of these three words. It was a entirely separate word, and the word was comprehensive. Comprehensive, of course, has two meanings. The first meaning of the word comprehensive comes from the word comprehend, which means to understand, which almost everybody understands, which almost everybody knows. The second meaning of the word comprehensive means complete, thorough, all-encompassing, encompassing, all inclusive. So if somebody says that I'm going to have a comprehensive exam, comprehensive test on my car, what they're saying is that they're going to check everything. They take their car to the mechanic and they say, I'm contemplating buying this car, I'm thinking about buying this car. Would you give it a comprehensive exam? Comprehensive test. Tell me anything that might be wrong with it. Check the brakes, check the timing belt, check everything on it. Check the exhaust, check everything on the car, and let me know what you think about this car. Such a complete, thorough examination is called a comprehensive examination. It means complete, thorough, all-encompassing, all-inclusive. Do you understand? Let's move on to day number 19 then. The very first word that we learned on day 19 was eclectic. What does it mean? Eclectic? And again, if you watch the actual video of day 19 or any other day, you will know that I always put down the pronunciation. As I explained to you before, being non-native, many a times I cannot actually tell by looking at the word how it is meant to be pronounced, because in English language I have learned the hard way that many times the words are not pronounced the way they are written. So I make a point of putting pronunciation every time, just to make sure. So if you're looking for correct pronunciation of any of these words, the pronunciations are all there. Just watch the video for day 19. Just type in same exact tag, Keshwani Prep -vocab day 19, and it will pop right up. Eclectic. It just means coming from wide variety of sources. Coming from wide variety of sources. An eclectic collection would be the example I gave you in the video that when we did. If you walk in somebody's living room and you see the different pieces of furniture from different parts of the world. They got a piece of furniture from Japan, a piece of furniture from Hungary, another piece of furniture from Turkey, and some piece of furniture from Native Americans. Such a wide variety of collection in one room, because typically we do not expect that. They have stuff from all sorts of different parts of the world in that room, and that such a collection is called an eclectic collection, coming from wide variety of different sources. The next word we learn is, or rather was, tacit. What does it mean? Tacit simply means not spoken out loud, implied. People talk about tacit understanding. People sometimes talk about tacit approval, where you do something and nobody actually says out loud, good job, but the signals were given to you that whatever it is that you did, the company approves of it. Probably they did not tell you out loud that it's okay to do that, is because if they were to do that, the company would get in trouble. So you're doing something, everybody in the firm knows that you're doing it. They give you their nod, and it's understood that it's okay. In such a situation is called a tacit approval. A tacit agreement you may have with somebody, where no words were exchanged, but you both understand what the expectations are of the other person. You may have a tacit arrangement with a government official, where I'll do something for you if you get me that permit. That's it. It's a tacit arrangement. You understand? That's what it means. Tacit, not spoken. The next word we learned, which has nothing to do with the word tacit, but since it rhymed and it just happened to come to my mind, was placid. Happened to come to my mind when I was putting together this notes here for tacit. Placid, it just means quiet. Calm. Tranquil. Unruffled. Undisturbed, calm, placid. And then from that we learned a word which was the antonym of it. Let's put it here. Perturbed. Oh, perturbed actually has two meanings. One meaning of the word perturbed is the antonym of this thing, which means you're not calm, you're not tranquil, you're disturbed, you're anxious. To be disturbed, to be anxious, to be uneasy, to be disturbed, to be not calm, to be anxious. Is what it means to be perturbed. So if somebody is described as being perturbed, they're anxious, they're uneasy about something. Their mind is not at ease. The second meaning of the word perturbed has to do with not being calm, but being confused. If you're confused about something, if you're perplexed, if you are confounded by something, the word perturbed is also used in that context. So if somebody is perturbed, you have to figure out from the context how it is being used. Are they saying that the person is not mentally at ease, or are they saying that they are a bit confused? Do you understand? The last word we learned on day number 19 was equanimity. Equanimity simply means to remain calm. To remain calm. Calm. What? I don't know what that is. That's a claim. Calm. To remain calm. To remain undisturbed. To have a composure. To have self-control. Equanimity. That was it. Finally, at the end of the word, at the end of the day, we had 3 bonus words. I'm going to put them here. Sang-froid, sanguine, sanguinary. These were bonus words in the sense that these are not part of the day number 19. I'm going to cover them again separately. But since I covered them very quickly over there, I'm doing one more time. Sang-froid came to my mind when we were dealing with the word equanimity. Equanimity means to have sang-froid, to be calm, to be collected, to have a composure. Equanimity. Sang-froid literally means all of these words have the prefix of sang. Which means blood. French word meaning blood, and here this word means cold. So sang-froid literally means to have cold blood. Not as in English, as I explained before, not as in English as in being cold-blooded, but to have cold blood as in you're calm, you're not angry, your blood is not boiling. Sanguine and sanguinary, these are some words we're going to learn later, but sanguine means to have the color, of blood, or to be ruddy, if you like. That's what it means literally. Metaphorically it means, so here literally means sang-froid literally means to have cold blood. Metaphorically it means to be calm, to be collected, not to be angry. Your blood is not boiling. Similarly here, sanguine, so here it's pronounced sang, the G is pronounced sang, here it is sang. Sanguine means literally to be the color of blood, or to be ready. Metaphorically it means you're optimistic. You're optimistic, you are cheerful, you are, how else did I say it? You're confident. You just took the exam and you come out of the classroom, and somebody or your friend might make a comment, boy, you look sanguine. You got this red hue to your cheek, and you're shining. Your face is shining because you did so well on the exam. You know you're going to ace it. You look sanguine. You're cheerful. You're optimistic that you're going to get a good grade. You're confident that you did very well. You're sanguine. Not to be confused with the word sanguinary, which is a different word, which means actually to be bloodthirsty. Bloodthirsty. I don't know how to spell it. I'm not going to write it. It means to be bloodthirsty. I don't know how to spell thirsty, if you can believe it. In my notes, what I wrote down was bloodthirsty. That's not what I meant to write. To be bloodthirsty, to be in a state of mind of going on a rampage, to be in a state of mind to engage in a carnage. The person sometimes you hear about walking into school and opening their gun and killing indiscriminately. that person was in a state, that person had a sanguinary state of mind. Sanguinary, bloodthirsty, going on a rampage, causing carnage. As you can see, this is a very different word, extremely different word. So it's very important that we learn the right word to use in the proper context. You don't want to end up saying sanguinary when you meant to say sanguine. How did your interview go? Well, by the time I came out of the room, I was feeling sanguinary. No, you were not feeling sanguinary. What you meant to say, you were feeling sanguine that you're going to get the job. Not sanguinary as in wanting to kill the person who did the interview. Do you understand? So it's important that we do not mix them up. Let's go on then. Last day 20. On day 20, the very first word we learned was cavalier. Which means to be carefree. To be carefree. To have casual disregard for something that is important. Something that is important, and yet you casually shrug it off as in no big deal. It's no big deal. Nothing is going to happen. You're being cavalier. Cavalier literally means a mounted soldier, soldier on a horse. And again, if you want to go into detail as to learning the etymology of the word, as to where the word comes from and what the connection is. Etymology, so if you do not know, learn it. It's one of the videos, I don't know which one, which means the history or the story behind the word. If you want to learn the etymology, go and watch the video on day 20, and I cover in a lot more detail. If you want to find out what's the connection between a mounted soldier and being carefree, watch the video and learn it. The good synonym for cavalier would be nonchalant. Nonchalant, which also means carefree. The next word we learned was Philistine. Philistine is an uncultured person, unrefined person, person with poor manners, person who does not have appreciation for arts and music and so forth. An uncultured, unrefined person who is not into high culture. After that, we learned the word boor, which literally means a peasant. A peasant. And again, one more time, I keep telling you that in the videos I go in much more detail to make you understand the connection between the literal meaning of the word and the metaphorical meaning of the word, what was the logic behind it. Literally it means a peasant, metaphorically it means a person with poor manner, a person with poor manners, poor etiquettes, poor decorum. Decorum means manners. And these are nouns, obviously. Decorum, etiquette, these are nouns. The adjective for the word decorum is decorous. If you have decorum, that means you have proper manners. And if you have decorum, you're being decorous. You see the pronunciation changes, which is why I made a note of, which is why I made a point of covering it, so that we understand the noun and the adjective. To be decorous means to have proper manners, to have proper etiquettes, to have proper behavior. And if you have proper behavior, proper etiquettes, proper manner, you have decorum. That was the end. That was the end of our quiz, quiz number 4. I hope it was helpful. I will see you again tomorrow on day 21. And we keep on going. Few words every day, and we expand our vocabulary, you and I together. Okay, you will find it helpful if you put time and effort into it, which is a big if. Do you understand? If you wish to get hold of me for any of these tests that you're preparing for, GRE, GMAT, SAT or TOEFL, go to any of the website addresses and send me an email, and I'll be more than happy to help you in whatever way I can. Or you can go to keshwaniprep.com and send me an email from there. I do private tutoring, face-to-face tutoring. I also do tutoring over the internet via Skype, and of course over the telephone. Alright, thanks.